So what do you think about Bronny? Bronny's chances of making the NBA. Where's he going? Is he playing with LeBron? What's going to happen? Because he was balling. He was, from the clips I saw, he was doing pretty well
at the scrimmages at the combine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a 42-inch vertical, which I think was top 5 among all players. He was second in the star 3-point shooting drill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm higher on Bronny than most.
Have you been?
I always have been, and even with his struggles, and I'll admit, it wasn't great at USC. Now that wasn't a great situation because he was playing behind 2 guards that were better than him, so it wasn't like he could run the show and learn. And also, the team just sucked, right? So, that doesn't help. But what people don't realize is everyone loves to be like, oh, Bronny averaged, 8 points a game at USC. He's not an NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
Most guys aren't scorers at the NBA level. Most guys, their role once they get to the league isn't, oh, go get me a bucket. You got to be so good to be a scorer in the NBA. Most guys are role players. And I think Bronny still fits the perfect mold as a role player.
Mm-hmm.
And look, he has the upside. He's obviously got the talent. He could be more than that. But I'm just saying, right off the bat, yeah, I do think he can come in and do the 2 things he's best at, which are athlete, IQ, defense, and shoot threes. Catch and shoot, right? I don't care that he didn't average 18 points a game as a freshman because most guys aren't going to be doing that in the NBA anyway, right? So if you try to project their roles, I think Bronny can just keep doing what he was doing at USC at any level. It's a very transferable, transportable game and style of play. So look, he's obviously always going to have pressure to be an all-star type of player because his name is Bronny James. But there's nothing wrong with being a Jrue Holiday or just a good player off the bench for 15 years in the league.
But that goes to the question now is, what did Jrue Holiday look like when he was in high school and college?
Yeah, I mean, he went to UCLA. He went to Campbell Hall here in LA.
Was he balling?
I mean, yeah, he was pretty good.
I mean, then again, now you see Draymond back in college too, and it's like, dang, this is not what Draymond is a good role player, right? But when you watch college highlights of Draymond, you're like, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, same thing with I know Michael Porter Jr. struggled with injury and stuff, but dude, you watch his
he was the number 1 player in his high school class.
That's what I'm saying. It's and then now in the NBA, he's not. I'm not saying he's not good. He's a great player to have on your team, but he's not what he was back then.
Sure.
Not what you thought he was going to be, And I think that's where people struggle to see what Bronny's potential might be because they're all these players that looked great before now are just solid players. They're nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also think about all the 4-year guys that are now in the league. Take Peyton Pritchard. Right?
True.
Or some of these guys that didn't do much in college their first year, developed, and in 3 years, yeah, Bronny's going to be better. So if he was coming out, as a college senior into the draft, he's obviously going to look better. The other thing I'll point out is Bronny was, I think, what was he, the 18th overall recruit in his high school class, something like that?
Okay.
If you look at the other guys that were ranked near him, the only other guy in the teens in his high school class that averaged double digits their freshman year last year in college was Rob Dillingham at Kentucky.
Oh, really?
Every other player that was ranked near him is also playing 7 minutes a game, struggling to crack the rotation, averaging 3 points a game. Just Bronny's not supposed to be good, I guess is my point, right?
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be LeBron James.
Now, I'm not arguing that Bronny is terrible. I'm
For sure.
I'm putting another perspective on the plate as to why people are giving him so much hate.
And I totally get it. And again, I was hoping he'd be better. He shot 24% from 3 last year. Yeah, I would have hoped he shot 44%, and he probably should have. And he can't really attack. He wasn't really doing much off the dribble. But again, I guess the reason why I like to circle back to your original question, his outlook in the NBA, is because I think he can, just be a catch and shoot, good defensive guard, and every team's going to want that.
Yeah. And I think, not to say anything bad, when I was watching him doing the 3-point drill in the combine, he was hitting everything, right?
He's got a nice shot.
It was good, but whoa, there's some crazy stuff going on here. It was The thing was, like, they were slower shots compared to some of the other guys I was watching. Like, other guys I was watching, like, right off the dribble, like, catch, ready to shoot, ready to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking a little more time, which I'm not bashing him or anything like that. But I wonder how that's going to translate to an NBA speed type of, like, three-point shot.
Yeah, different guys have different. Not everyone's Steph Curry.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? But look, I'm gonna bet on the IQ and the athleticism at the end of the day.
Right.
Because those are the two things you can't really develop or teach. And Bronny's got both of those at like a 95th percentile level.
Mm-hmm. Now, where do you think you think he's getting drafted? Where is he getting drafted?
If I had to guess, I think the Lakers will take him in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just makes the most sense. It's also not as simple as if the Celtics take him with the 30th pick, LeBron's going to go sign with the Celtics,
right?
Which everyone says no, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I think the Celtics could draft him, but then LeBron just wouldn't play together. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I think the league wants them to play together.
100%, dude.
And LeBron wants to play together. And LeBron is more powerful than the league, essentially, at this point. Mm-hmm. So, do I think the league might call in some favors? And given that Bronny isn't the most hyped-up prospect, find a way for him to last until the 53rd pick or whatever the Lakers have in the second round? I'm not saying for certain, but
you think these teams are obviously they're talking on the back end, but what are the chances that some team who has no interest in Bronny just decides to draft Bronny?
They could. They
First
100%
round,
could.
middle of the round.
Yeah, he'll go spend a year in the G League, develop, and by year 2 or 3, he could be pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, that could happen. There's also the clutch sports angle of this because agents have a lot of power. Because, Rich Paul, who's LeBron's agent, right? Bronny's agent, could just be like, hey, like, Bronny doesn't want to play for Boston. Bronny doesn't want to play for Sacramento. And kind of finesse where he goes.
Right.
It's like the Eli Manning, right? Eli Manning said he didn't want to play for the San Diego Chargers, and that's why he was eventually, started his career in New York. So I guess, Bronny could go anywhere. I still think the most logical outcome is he's drafted by the Lakers sometime in the second round, partially guaranteed deal, spends a year in the G League. They play 1 or 2 games together late season.
Yeah. I think it's a great look for the NBA, too, to try to find a way to get LeBron and Bronny together.
100%.
Just for the reason also of because guys like my dad who don't watch basketball at all, it's moments like this where they're like, okay, let me look into this because this sounds pretty cool. Because that's when it hits certain news outlets that my dad might listen to or watch. That's like, oh, they're playing together. That's his son. That's crazy. Like in a league like that. And like there's been moments where my dad like strictly watches only because there's something unorthodox going on. Like whether or not that's like the guys, like the Khabib guys, you know what I mean? Like these guys coming up that like weren't known to be fighters 10 years ago, but now are taking over the whole UFC. My dad's like, oh, cool, let me look into that. It's like when something weird happens, you get more attention from people that weren't originally there. Maybe older audiences. I mean, the younger audiences, like if it's on social media, they're already watching, you know what I mean? But
even if they play against each other, I think no one's really talked about that either. That's still cool.
That might be even one game that everyone's like, wow.
Imagine if Bronny checks into the game. It's, Kings, Lakers. Bronny's on the Kings. LeBron calls for the ball, comes set a screen, switch, gets Bronny on a switch, takes him.
The whole crowd stands up. Yeah, dude.
That might be cooler, honestly.
And then
imagine if Bronny strips him and then takes it down and gets a fast break lay. I mean, are you kidding?
Yeah, dude.
I think we win no matter what.
Yeah.
But, yeah, obviously LeBron wants to play with Bronny. That's what he said. So I think that's the most likely outcome. But either way, it'll be cool.
I've been saying it from the start. I want the Ball brothers together, and I want Bronny and LeBron. Imagine that 5, dude.
Hell yeah.
Bring Jello up. Yeah. Once Lonzo and LaMelo are back from injury, bring them 3, Bronny and LeBron. That team would sell tickets.
It's like how the Knicks right now are just rebuilding their old college Villanova championship team.
Yeah.
Hey, man, team chemistry matters a lot.
100%.
So, yeah, let's go Chino Hills 2.0. Get Onyeka over there, trade him from the Hawks, pull up Eli Scott.
Oh, man.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I mean.
There's a 4th Ball, too. Andre
Ball. That's
right.
Right.
What's he doing right now? He's probably playing somewhere in Europe.
Where's Jello? Is he Jello in Europe?
I don't know what the latest on Jello is. He spent some time in like the G League and Summer League. I saw him play at Summer League one year with the Hornets. I don't know. Call him up.
Probably jail.
Yeah, stealing playing time.